wisdom. Student enrollment, that's what the class of God students enroll in. Supreme wisdom, I study it hard. The study of myself is the study of God. Supreme wisdom, write your letter, get your X. Supreme wisdom, that's what you'll be getting next. Supreme wisdom, some call it the lessons, but I call it life, actual facts, no guessing.
So this week, we're going to, inshallah, go over the next questions, right? So let's go to the Bible. In Deuteronomy 31:7, and it says, "And Moses called unto Joshua and said unto him, in the sight of all Israel, be strong and of a good courage, for thou must go with this people unto the land which the Lord has sworn unto their fathers to give them, and thou shalt cause them to inherit it." So, in this, what land are these people to go to?
The land of their fathers.
And where is that?
In Patmos.
Say?
In Patmos.
In Patmos?
In Europe.
Europe?
Yeah.
Well,
You about to say something?
the whole earth belongs to the original black man.
Mm-hmm.
And he's chosen for himself the best part. The best part is in Arabia at the Holy City Mecca. However,
Mm-hmm.
most honorable wife Muhammad said that Arabia is not just what we call Arabia today, but that extended all the way to Egypt. And so really Arabia is Africa as well, because the only thing that separates the so-called Middle East and Africa is a man-made canal called the Suez Canal. So Africa is the home of our fathers.
So that's this land that was
Yeah,
promised.
I didn't hear exactly what you said.
Sir,
I misperceived what you were saying.
from this quote,
What?
I asked what was the land that the Lord had sworn unto their fathers to give them? What was this land? Or where was this land?
What was the land that the enemy,
That the Lord was going to
The
give
Lord was gonna give.
oh,
to this people.
no, to his
You
people.
from Gulf now?
No,
Shackwater.
huh?
So, this is the Lord is giving the land.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if the Lord is giving the land, like, Sister Deborah said, right, the land, God, my God, say that we inherit the whole land, or, the whole land belongs to the original people. So, yes, ma'am. So, the Holy City and the land, I would say, is mine. Because it's part of the earth, this is mine.
Yes, ma'am. Do you ever have anything?
What's the question?
The question was, going back to this, what was this land that was talked about that's going to be given or inherited that the Lord was going to give to his people?
Mr. Promised Land. Well, geographically, I don't know, but it's a land that was promised to them. So, I'll say, somewhere on this, earth to call their home.
Somewhere? Well, according to our lessons in student enrollment, in the Supreme Wisdom lessons, question number 5, what is the area of square miles of the planet Earth? I mean, you can answer it.
Answer 196,940,000 square miles, man.
Yes. So I guess I'll write that. Don't play me. 196.
See, I know.
Uh-huh.
See, I know how much belongs to me.
40,000. Square miles. Let me, nope, not. Let me do this. UA miles. Square miles. Okay. So, how much is the land?
57, 255
That's where it's supposed to come.
square miles. 1,000 square miles.
Where?
Mile. Had to register
This is the land.
That's right.
How much is the water?
This was left over.
And what's that?
1,685,000 square miles.
What'd you say?
139,685,000 square. Yes.
Yeah.
Y'all remember that one?
Yes,
That's why you forget.
I remember
You
that.
say that's the way that's it.
Give me my credit. They don't remember that one.
Go ahead, Sis Gabriel. Go ahead.
Look, that's what I'm talking
That's
about.
right, yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All of it belongs.
Okay. So now, let's go to question number 6. What are the exact square miles of useful land that is used every day by the total population of the planet Earth?
Oh my gosh, 23?
Million square miles.
No.
29 million square miles.
29.
Okay.
29.
Go ahead,
I know Brother Brad said, okay, everybody got one. Everybody got Give me Brother credit.
I ain't asked you that, but that's not gonna ask you. That's right, Brother Brad. Give him his credit. He got his credit. That's the only part you care about?
I care about the part.
Okay. Next question. How much of this useful land is used by the original man?
23 million square miles. She said 23,000.
Okay.
Now I'm just trying to get
Square
you
mile.
before I say
Okay, so the original man. And remember original man. Going back to Sister Gabrielle's class and making of the devil. Then with our original man, right? We had the original man has how many people inside him? 2, right?
Yes.
Black germ, brown germ. Then the brown is you have what? Another 2 colors, and that is red and yellow. So that is talking about black, brown, red, and yellow. Okay?
Yes.
So Sister Deborah,
Yes,
that you don't care about this other part.
6 million. No. That's his day
6
answer.
million
So
square.
How much of the useful land is used by the colored man?
The color.
Come on, sister.
okay.
That's right.
Million.
If I was you all, I'd check those numbers out a little closer.
Huh?
If I was y'all, I'd check those numbers out just a little bit closer.
What you talking about?
Look at the numbers. He's a man of 6.
Oh.
I'm writing
Oh
numbers.
yeah. I mean, go ahead. Say what you got to say.
I'm just saying, the colored man is a man of 6, you know? It doesn't, the number of the beast
Yeah.
is the number of the man. 6 score 300, 6 score 6, 666.
Okay, so
3 score and 6, that's what I thought. 666. And then 23, you know, they got those 23 scientists too, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm saying.
Yes, ma'am.
that's all you think? You know me on no list. That's it.
She got the knives in that.
Okay, now of this 29 million square miles of useful land, the original man uses 23 of it. So that brings us to the question: where are we going to go when we separate? If we use 23 million of the 29 million square miles, we can go anywhere we want to, because this whole
Yeah.
planet belongs to us.
That's right.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, we don't have to go anywhere at all.
Exactly.
This,
I said the planet.
Yes.
Anywhere
We wanna go.
we want to go. We can stay, we can go.
Yes.
Okay?
That's what Kanye said.
That's what Kanye said.
He said he can go wherever he wants.
He did say that. And he was
Right on that.
Yeah, he was,
Throw it all.
he was somewhat,
He was thrown off in a good way.
correct on that.
Yeah, he was right on that.
Okay, so, we have no, specific, oh, Sister Deborah,
Yes, ma'am.
did you get that, article?
That's right there in front of you on the first seat, first row.
I wanted you to have the article. That's why I asked you to get the article.
Oh, okay.
Sister Deborah.
All right, Sister Deborah.
It's,
Which one?
well, you know what part it was, what area it was in, right?
Read the title.
Oh, okay, well, I'm taking. Oh, okay. I guess I can- Okay, now, with this, where are we gonna go?
Wherever we wanna go.
Wherever we wanna go. That's right.
That's right.
Now, some of our people might actually be scared to go somewhere. To leave this place called North America and go somewhere else on the planet. Okay.
Hold on, wait. Before you finish your point, I want to bring up something that Deborah and I were talking about in the car. She was telling me that the brother who actually drives the van that delivers the final calls to the mosque, he and his wife, they drive together, and they're, older brother and sisters, they fell asleep in the parking lot, and they were woken up by some white man knocking on their window, like banging on their window. I don't think they were here.
It was in Lufkin, Texas.
Texas, something like, some backwaters town in Texas, obviously. But they were knocking on the door, and they woke them up out of their sleep. And so he was telling them, like, he was asking, like, are you with this man who's on on the side of this thing? If you with him, do you sell these for him? And it's like, if you with him, y'all need to go back to your country. And I was thinking to myself, do white people, and obviously some, mentally enslaved Africans, think that, like, there's a country called Africa America, and that's what makes us African American? So when these ignorant people say, go back to your country, do they want us to go back to Africa America? I'm just saying. Because like they act like we came over here like their forefathers, the Irish, the Italians, the Germans, the Polish, the Greeks. They act like we came over here like everybody, and we weren't like stolen and brought over here to work for them. And then, how dare we try to do something for ourselves and educate our people, and they're telling us, go back.
Don't do it here.
So obviously, we're no good to them if we're educating ourselves, but as long as we, work for them, we can stay as long as we want. But, as soon as you try to uplift your people, go back to Africa America.
Oh, and this, you can,
So
I
obviously,
make a comment
the
or
answer
question
is
anytime you want.
our country, and where we need to go is Africa America.
Africa America?
Yep. I'm ratifying the Constitution. We go to Africa America.
Oh, also, remember the conversation you and I were having about their stance on, what did you say? That as long as we're here serving them, that we can stay. You and I were talking about this the other day.
I remember
Vaguely.
we were talking, I think about the movie The Help, and we were talking about the whole concept of how that white folks are okay with us as long as we're serving their purpose.
Yes,
They don't mind you being around as long as you're not seen.
yes.
That's what Sister Gabrielle said. But that you are in their home cleaning and they see you, then you become a problem.
Yes.
You become problematic. As long as the job that they are paying you to do, supposedly paying you to do, is being done without you being seen, they're okay with it.
Right. Yeah, and I think we even further was saying that's how this society is set up in America. It's off the backs of the poor that the rich are able to live the life that they want to, based upon all different types of loopholes and tax legislation and just straight up slave labor and prison and many different things.
Yes.
But the thing about it is that even though they're making money off the work that we do, we will never bump up against, a billionaire, millionaire, where we, at the supermarket trying to get our groceries. You see what I'm saying? In our everyday lives, we probably would never even see them, but yet they're living, lavishly off of our, labor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nothing? Okay. So, question. Now let's do this carefully. Do we have enough qualified men and women to self-govern?
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yes.
you got them in this
Yeah,
bill
we got
right
them.
now.
Yes, that's right.
And it's only a
Sign.
few of us. I don't even say how
Yes.
many of us, but it's enough. I feel like just in this room right now, we have enough to run Africa America.
They establish the government.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that might have something to do with this construct that we're in called the Mosque.
Mm-hmm.
It's a training simulation for actually governance of nations, governances of cities and towns. And so what we're set up for is actually to teach us how to do it. And then we bring our skills that we get when we, interact with this world, maybe go to college or technical skills or whatever the skills that we use or learn to help build their nation with the training that we get in here and how to govern our own affairs qualifies
Yes,
us
that's right.
more, completely to be able to be sovereign and have our own nation and run our own country.
So, let's go to Message of the Black Man and see what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad has to say. And actually, he said, to answer that question, he said yes as well. He said, there are probably many independent people who do not have among them many who have the know-how of the American educated class of so-called Negroes. We have enough technicians, such as mathematicians, construction engineers, civil engineers, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, physicists, oh, that's a good one, chemists, educators,
Hey.
Go ahead,
yes, sir. Look, you keep reading the book.
And aeronauts among the 22 million and more of us. You will find scholars or scientists whom we can use in every branch of government. Then there are our own independent people outside of this country who would be glad to help us get going in a country or state for ourselves.
Yes, ma'am.
I seen you over there.
Oh,
Okay,
I
Holy Ghost.
was pointing this to Joe because we literally were just talking about this on our way over here. About how, just even within the Nation of Islam alone, we have enough qualified people to run not just the nation, but, not the nation, but a nation.
I was studying today the teachings of Baton Muhammad, and they was talking about how they was like that they was on a friendship tours, and they was talking about how they met with the Mexicans, they met with the Pacific Islanders, and they've set up a relationship with them. And I'm currently studying right now. It's like she said she made a point about if you flip Mexico, the country, you see a dog, which is the canine, and she said it's similar into the pronunciation of Canaan, and how the Putzman, the mountain that the minister was on when he had the vision, is at the heart a dog. If you look upside down, the mountain is at the heart of the dog. No, I thought that was interesting.
You got a thought?
Well, I do have something to say on that. Interesting that he should mention that, because actually, that's what I was working on. I was talking with, I don't know if you all are familiar with the Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Ridgely. And Dr. Ridgely was talking about the concept of Detroit. I don't want to steal your thunder. Were you talking about Detroit?
Me?
Okay. So anyway, he was saying that, you know, the minister from the Holy Day of Atonement talked about Detroit being the new Mecca. And he said that, you know, with the prophet, how after they ran Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his followers out of Mecca 1,500 years ago, almost 1,500 years ago, that when they went back into Mecca, they went back as conquerors. And the minister was saying that's how we are going back into Detroit as conquerors. But to speak to what the brother Brad said, I was talking with the brother about the escape route. That there are 2 safety zones in America that the messenger said that we should get to. Because when the time comes and the deal is about to go down, we need to be able to exit out of America. So it's not like, most of us are not just going, you know, like, I'm going to get on the boat and go back out. It's going to take something that's going to be a calamity that's going to make us go. You know, at least for a while, to get out the way. Because Allah can't deal with these devils until we get out the way. The messenger said that we are like hostages that are in, like, you have, Allah is like the sniper who wants to take out the enemy, but he can't do it because he's holding the black man hostage. And so when he's trying to get a clear shot of the enemy, metaphorically, he's in the way. We're in the way of a clear shot. So what he has to do is get us out the way before he can do what he has to do. So the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught that there were 2 places in America that we would go to wait for further instructions to exit. And that one of them being Detroit, Michigan, which sits on the border of Lake Michigan, is between the United States and Canada. And then the other one is Phoenix, Arizona, which, you know, Donald Trump is trying to build a wall down there, so we may have to get us a road so we can jump it. But the point is that Phoenix is the other place. And Mother Tynetta talks about that. I actually have the article pulled up here, but Mother Tynetta talks about that. So it's not going to be, our exodus is going to be in stages. And so, you know, it's not going to be just as simple as, you know, one day we're just going to get up and we just going to have our passport, get on the plane, and go.
Why not? Did you hear about that caravan of 4,000 South Americans is moving towards the United States? And Donald Trump is basically saying he's gonna, you know, get together a force to oppose them. But the people just literally just decided, like, I have nothing.
Yeah, they don't have.
And then they just said, they even know that it's illegal to come here, and they're just like, I don't care.
That's right.
I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna go, and if I make it, I make it, and if I don't, I don't. But I know I can't take this, you know, much more. But even with, I was listening to Dr. Boyce Watkins on YouTube, and he was commenting on that. And he was basically saying, people are asking him about it. His kind of sentiment was, I don't care.
About the Mexican thing?
Yeah, I don't think they're Mexicans. I think they're from somewhere else even further than south. But they're from South America. They're moving.
Go another place.
And so, he was basically saying, I really don't. It's not that I don't care, but it's like, that's not my issue to worry about, because he's like, the things that they're leaving their country for are the same things that we are still in America dealing with right now, and the things that we're dealing with way more injustice than they've been dealing with, and for way longer. So that was the same kind of sentiment he had about the, you know, he was like, well, he said that goes to show you how much people don't care about black people in America, because he was saying that even with the whole thing with Trump separating families, children from their families, their parents at the border. He said with the crime bill that Clinton passed, he said they did way worse damage to black families by having people. He said people were separated only for about 2 weeks. He said, but with that crime bill, he said black families and the black men in their families were separated for 30 years. Doing triple life sentences for nonviolent offenses. So he was like, I really don't have space on my plate for that when our situation is a lot worse. And so, what was I going with that? But oh yeah, I was getting on that. Yeah, but they, like you said, they're not as mentally in the dumps as us. So that's their answer. How we're sitting, like we're saying, no, it's not as simple as just get up one day and get on a rowboat. Do you understand? These people jump fences to get over here. They're just like what we consider is like kind of silly. They're like, yes, it's worth it. Like, yes, just one day we all get up out of our houses, pack our bags, and just start walking. Hey, that's really how bad it is. We really should be on that tip.
But the fact that we're not lets you know that it's gonna take a lot to do something. More disasters for them, something.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying, I'm just making the point that it can be done just like that. As cruel as that. Get up one day and crash
crucial
off.
to deal with your life.
I think
you want to take and survive. And your children. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, I was just saying, when you gotta survive, you have that survival mode in you. You really just don't care when it's dealing with that. You don't have nowhere to go, and you're looking at so much destruction and murder and killing and doing all the other stuff in the country where you're at. And you're not getting the food that you need, the proper whatever. So you're trying to just really get out of that condition. It's just like saying, I would say not really compare it, because you couldn't really compare it with Katrina, but it's just like when people doesn't have nowhere really to go, and they don't have no food, and you're trying to survive for your people and try to, deal with taking care of your children and everything else. And then you trying to get over somewhere and somebody's trying to hold a gun and telling you that you can't come this way. Well, it's a lot of stress and pressure on you, but you just don't care. You go into survival mode and you don't really care on what you're doing at that particular time. If you gotta break in somebody's house, steal a car, whatever, to get somewhere, to get around them, to do whatever you need to get somewhere where you at least can eat, rest, and do whatever you need to do. You're gonna do it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think that one of the problems is the people that they don't feel a trajectory enough. Like the country's on downward spiral, but they don't. It's like it's normal to them. It's like stock market they lost like 1,000 points. It's like they don't see the things that's happening with Trump. Like Trump he actually has the military orders right now. So I think World War III, when Trump tries to incite World War III, it's going to make a lot of people, all right, we're going to listen to what the minister says now because we don't want to go to war. He says we're going to die, and I think it's going to have it's going to be something. It's going to be a big chaos for that because it's like they don't. The government doesn't want to hear that tone, and it's like it's the right tone for us. But then God has to come in. I think that and the earthquakes are going to come in at around the same time. Because when the messenger tried to get the people not to go to war, they put them in jail to silence them. And I feel like when Trump, he hears what the minister's saying, but he doesn't want to come out yet because he has to think more. He's on the strategic level. He's using like Kanye West to kind of hear what, like I was reading in the book of Daniel where some of the sorcerers and the enchanters, they were getting the word from, I think it was Daniel, and they were telling them the writing on the wall. Mm-hmm. And Trump was like Nebuchadnezzar. He's reading what they're saying, but he's only doing it for his own benefit. He's not doing it for the benefit of freeing the people. Mm-hmm. He's doing it so he can escape. And what the minister's saying is he's going to have to come to the minister because Kanye can't save you. You got to listen to what the minister says because you're trying to do your own route. But God has his own route for what he wants to do is.
That's right. You're just saying that.
And that's just like you said, because the minister has spoke too, where it's like he was saying where it's still that a lot of God is dealing with all around the outer, what is that? The
Yeah,
outer
they're telling
circle.
her by her side,
Yes,
yeah.
and bringing
Oh, yeah,
everybody
absolutely.
into that center.
Mhm.
And that's what it, all of everybody's trying to come here and everything else, because everything else he's dealing with, all around the outer circle.
Oh, yes,
You know,
Mhm.
it is what it is.
it is.
Because you had hurricanes that basically hit every coast except the north and the west, but it hit the east coast, it hit the panhandle, it hit the Gulf area, and it even came around and hit it didn't come around but where it originated, it hit the Pacific side of the Mexico. They had that hurricane was hitting, so it's literally just the whole coast has just been battered by high level hurricanes, one after another. It's kind of forcing people to move in, because even after what was it, Michael?
Yeah.
I saw this video about the aftermath of Michael, and then there was this one lady on there. She was saying she just moved to Florida, and she was like, this is her first major hurricane, and she said this will be her last, because she said, I'm not leaving. She said, I'm moving. I'm never going through this again. So people are leaving. Man said he'd been in Florida in that same video. Man said he had been in Florida for how long, and he said that was the dumbest thing he had ever done since he'd been in the state of that hurricane. So it's he that whole mentality is I'm leaving from over here. And Florida, even though now we're kind of awakened to that Florida is not just because they have the beach, that doesn't mean it's a good place to stay. But that was these white folks' playground.
Right.
And there was access to the islands. They go down there in Florida, do all that. A lot of ripping that up. Same thing in Mexico. They like to go playing. The people's lands, and then they go back about their business. So he's just whipping everything.
Wipe it up, just clean it up. And I noticed that they're saying that these last few, they haven't been going the normal, I guess, route that they usually go every year. They've been going different routes, so it's tripping them up.
Well, they originate off of the west coast of Africa where slave ships. But I just want to say this, because just in case everybody's not aware, the Sister Paulette was actually a survivor from Katrina. So she was one of the people who was there after the levees broke and had to actually go through, going from home to home, looking for water, looking for, somewhere to stay. So she and her family, and then she had I think your mom was with you too, and she was a sickly. And so she had to experience that firsthand of what it feels like to be in a disaster, area where you're trying to survive. And Brother Brad, he's, have you gotten out the military yet?
I'm actually not up. I'm actually I got a lawsuit against the military.
I'm sorry, you have lost?
Yeah,
I got a lawsuit against the military.
Okay, they won't let you claim conscientious objector?
Not at the moment.
Okay, well, see, we have in this room people that have experience that literally that is so very useful for, what we're talking about.
Right.
Separation, surviving, whatever's on its way. Even with me working with disaster case management after disasters, but we know that these are the types of things in the separation as we're going wherever we're going. We're going to have to be able to not just get there. We're going to have to learn. We're going to have to be able to survive. So getting this knowledge and understanding what we need to do is so critical now before it actually happens. So I think that this is very good that we should be talking about this now.
But we have the, like the message said, in these words, we have the skills, but what we don't have is the thinking. And so, I've always having conversations, but we would have a conversation, that's the thing is about how do you marry the thinking with the skill? And it goes back to education because, being a teacher myself, I do a lot of tutoring and from adults to children. And what I find is that people know how to do stuff, but they don't understand why. And so they have procedural knowledge, but they don't have, understanding. So that you can get them to reproduce a operation or reproduce a task. But as soon as you change the format, since they don't have understanding, they can't, if it doesn't look exactly like it looks, they can't do it anymore. And so that's how we kind of are as people. Like we have all this procedural, information. We know how to do things. We know we have people who can build cars, people who can farm land, people who can fix you up, like a doctor. We have, everything, but we don't have the right type of thinking to do it for ourselves. Our minds are literally wired to do it, and not really, our minds are not even wired to do it for like Asians or Latinos or like literally when our minds are literally wired to only work for one type of person, is a white man. Just like when we say, Black Lives Matter, and that's when they come with All Lives Matter. All Lives Matter is code for White Lives Matter.
Right.
All lives does not include yellow, red, and brown, and black. It's only white. Yeah. And so that's what we have to separate ourselves from before we go somewhere else, because, we'll end up making a whole, like we talked about last week, end up being a whole Liberia and reproduce, the same thinking. It's our thinking that's our way of thinking that's really the issue. But we have skills. We can get stuff done and build this country. But the thing about it, we built it for somebody other than ourselves.
Right.
Not just that, we actually built it for him.
Opening. Not even a secret enemy. Opening. Okay, so the most honorable Elijah Muhammad talked about independence. He said that independence is strange to us.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. He said it's strange to us. So what is independence, or to be independent? Independent, not subject to control by others, self-governing, not relying on something else, not looking to others for one's opinions or for guidance and conduct, not requiring or relying on others. So he said that's strange to us.
Yeah, it is strange.
It is. It is. That's
Because we always, like you're saying, as a people, is relying on others. Even with their jobs. We come out of college, and our children, when they do come out of college, and you tell them, okay, find something that you can at least, when you do leave from college, that you could take and do something on your own, dealing with a business. But instead, they always get something where they could go right back and work on his job, and constantly keep him, I would say, empowered, dealing with, for us making money, and you just constantly giving all of your time. Then when you do give you all your time, you're so tired, bored out, you can't do nothing with your children or anything. You can't even really teach them, because you give him so much of all your time, dealing with all of the work or whatever that you have to do when you're going on his job constantly. I was telling some young lady we was talking, and I was like, and she was 17 years old. And I was just, talking to her, and I said, it's good to go and get all of the knowledge that you need, for us, like getting it from them, out of the institution and everything. I said, but you want something at least when you can be able. She said, well, I want to be a nurse. I said, yes. I said, that's good. I said, but you could be a nurse, and maybe you can get some of your girlfriends or even your friends that who is nursing going into that field, that y'all can get together with and still, pull your money together. I said, y'all just, one could be a doctor, one could be a nurse, one could be something else, and dealing with getting one of these buildings and get like a little clinic. I said, they do it every day, for us white people. I said, so when you go to school, think about that, on trying to, I said, I know you probably have to get a job, and that way I said, well, get the job and save the money. You have to do what you have to do. Don't just keep working and all of that, try to build yourself up, to do what you have to do. Because, you might have to, stay on your job for a little while, but don't get stuck on your job. I said, that's what they want you to do, just constantly work for them. So, she was, listening to it and everything else, because she was saying that she wanted to do what she had to do, but that is just what, and then, she said, well, no, I'm gonna go and work on this here, in this here, some hospital. And I'm like, I just was telling her, well, she stated that she wanted to go work in this hospital. So, like you said, they're programmed did your program just to go and work regardless
Get a
of
job.
how long, I don't care, you be in school for what, 12 years or 11 years? Then you have to go to college for what? Like maybe 4, you might get 2 masters or whatever. So I'm just saying, all of this here, that you know, you could get for us the knowledge and everything else. But I'm saying, all of this you spending and then just go and just work on his job, I don't understand. You know, I mean, you know, I'm not gonna say don't go to school, yeah, cause it's knowledge, you want all kind of knowledge, cause it gives you power, but you don't wanna just constantly work on his, you know, in his, you know, in his, on his job, constant, every day, all day. When you get old, you retire, you ain't did nothing, you.
Exactly, they trying to get rid of social
Nothing,
security.
yes. You ain't
That's
did
nothing,
nothing.
Trump trying to get rid of.
But with that education, I'm paraphrasing, the minister say, you know, when we go in their
Right.
schools, we come out with their mind.
That's right,
That's right.
that's right, that's just like you said,
So-
you eating the fruit, and you just digesting it, and all you digest is big feel.
You got something?
It's actually before we start the school, telling you about the religious principle,
That's
the
right.
main
Yeah.
subject
Yeah.
of the religious principle, and that a white man is is projected as being your as having died for your sin.
Right.
Yes.
All that is, they think,
Yeah.
we gotta,
We're thinking.
before we go, we gotta come about that thinking.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
that's what he said.
That's what the Quran means.
Mhm.
That Allah won't change the condition of a people until they first change the way they think or
right.
what's in their heart.
Yes.
That's right.
You were saying something to the public.
No,
You
I just
remember?
agreed, I kind of want to state, you know, on what you want today, because this is about the where. But, a re-education process definitely should be instituted in between the wherever we go. We need to go through some type of,
Drop squad.
re-education, you know, like, I think, like, even when you become a citizen of a different country, like, don't they make you take a test?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
when they
Like,
come
to-
here,
to-
you
to
have
get
to,
your
yeah, to
citizenship?
get a, yes.
They make you take a test.
You have to learn about the country, learn about
the laws and
Yeah.
and the history and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, you know, they are trying to orient your thinking into what you're getting into. They want you to become a patriot before you even become a citizen. They're trying to impress that on your mind.
Because that's what the Honorable Muammar Gaddafi told the minister in 97 and said, don't, you know what you can do for me, minister, brother minister? To bring all them black African American Muslims together. That as a comment of a commendment from the success of the Million Man March. And he said, don't worry about them immigrant people, because they abandoned Islam when they give the pledge of allegiance to the flag. Yeah,
Wow.
And see,
to
they
become
go
a
back,
citizen.
Yes,
That's it.
yes.
it goes back to him saying, we got
That is
our
true.
other independent people
Yeah.
outside of this country who will be glad to help us.
Yeah.
To be glad to help us.
Yeah, Muammar Gaddafi put his money in the market.
Sure they did. But they don't like that.
Oh no, they don't like that at all.
Uh-uh.
So, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad with the Muslim program has been demanding for us to be set free, right? And the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan has demanded justice or else. And he said, I'm paraphrasing, okay, that when God makes a demand, a threat comes with it, or accompanies it, if I'm not mistaken, that's what he said, accompanies it. So that brings us to the question, why do we have to separate?
Why not? Why not? Why not? Now that one, the why is gonna be a long list.
Look, I got another
on
week.
that.
You said another 5 weeks.
Yes, but the why not is a short list, and now it's actually so short it has nothing on it. So
The why not?
yes.
Okay.
No, you know what? I do like hot running water. I really enjoy it.
Hot running water.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't even need electricity, just a hot. Whew. Yeah.
Now, I wrote down a little something on why. I said why, because they kill the black people, you know, white folks, constantly, all the time. And I say why, because to keep them, you know, because white folks, to keep us from being slaves and using us for too. And then I said, to keep them as consumers. That's why we need to separate, you know. And then I said, to keep them rich, you know, and keep us poor. That's definitely why we need to separate. And I said, to deceive the people and our children, you know, and for us the education system and everything else, I could go on and on to say why we need to separate. Because, you know, to get out of the mind thinking of this here white supremacy thinking, this here white folks thinking, period.
I think it's a toxic relationship. Another reason I see a lot of people, they condemn the young people, but I see like the young people are rebellious in a way that's really helpful. You know, I think the mental disease it's like they're rebellious to the system. People think they're rebellious to everything. It's like if we can use it, it's like if we train them right, they're not work for the white man mentality. A lot of the young people are actually starting to do for themselves. It's like we can't if we stick to America, they will eventually have their minds taken over by the white supremacy. So before they become like the older people, they have to be separated from that mindset before it becomes another cycle where it's like they took them over too. You see, the young people, this young generation is the strongest one, so we got to make sure we kind of bring them out of that mindset. You know?
Oh, okay. Look, that was unanimous, I guess. Why we need to separate? Okay. Well.
Oh.
Deborah. Okay, go ahead.
Why are we moving on? Why?
Yeah, we on why. Yeah. I said that. Why?
You're right. Well, it's one of the reasons why we get separated, because we can't read.
That is so true.
Even when the words are on the board, blind, deaf, and dumb.
Look, talk about it.
Ain't
That's what we dealing with. That's why we gotta deal with this.
Yes.
I gave you the booklet where that's why we doing these questions.
But we why do we need to separate? We need to separate so we can save our lives.
Yes.
You know, it's like if you have a person who has a limb or body part that has an infection.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it is necessary to separate that infectious part of the body to save the whole.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So not saying that the separation is going to be easy or comfortable, because if I have to take off one of your limbs, it's probably going to hurt something. You know, if anything, if they don't feel good enough, the best would be is uncomfortable. You know, and then even after, you know, having one of your limbs cut off, there's something called phantom pains, you know, where, you know, people, they have in their mind, they still feel like they have that limb attached to them, but they have to even have to go through months of therapy to mentally detach from that piece that has been cut off. But sometimes it's necessary to separate to save their lives. Just like when people die, what do they do with the dead bodies? They separate them from that which is living, because eventually that death is going to overtake the living people. So they have to, you know, bury the dead. They can't keep the dead just, you know, on the surface with everybody else. You know, that's how you end up setting up disease when you don't do that. So with the birthing process, in order for there, you know, to be life, you know, there has to be a separation from the mother and the baby. Even though the baby, you know, goes this period of gestation inside the mother, after a point there needs to be a separation. You see, so separation is natural, you know, and in our case, it's necessary to save our lives.
That's right. That is so true.
You have something? You have something?
No.
No? Okay, so,
I guess
What?
I'll do my why.
okay, go ahead.
In the Bible, it talks about a story about Jesus and telling, I think one of his or a couple of his disciples to go to a master and tell the master to loose a donkey because he has need of it. And the donkey is an animal that's a hybrid. That's new. Well, a donkey is it's not a horse, but it's like a horse. But it is an animal that's built, is real stocky, and it has a back that can carry heavy loads. And so the master, being Jesus, has a need of that donkey to carry a heavy load. And so the black man had to be separated from the one who was keeping him captive because there was a work that the master has to do with this people. We have been reduced to nothing as a people. Like I said in my presentation, pretty much we've been made into like a stem cell. Our nucleus has been removed, which is our mind. And so we went through 76 trillion years to get us to this point that we are the material that the God wants to use to build a brand new world with.
That's right.
So in order for him to build what he envisioned, the originator envisioned in his mind 78 trillion years ago, we have to now go through the same process of everything that has happened with every new man that has been created or made, and you always have to separate that thing in order to make what you're trying to do. So the master has need of us because we're the material that the God wants to use to build a brand new civilization off of. So we have to be separated. Why? Because now is the time, the fullness of time, and we are the people that he has chosen to make a brand new world out of.
Yes, ma'am.
You said the wire can go on forever. Forever. Okay, so, why do we have to say? Well, you all had pretty much all the answers. But the first reason, well, I'm gonna say the first reason, but another reason, like Sister Deborah stated a while ago, we need to move out the way.
That's right.
Number one, we need to separate so we can get out of the way of what Allah has, his judgment that he's going to place on his enemy. And the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that we cannot be successful in the house of our enemies.
That's right.
We should have, or we should be in our own house. And he said our own is unlimited physically and spiritually. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So we have these two men here who are giving us the command of Allah. And if we go to Holy Quran, chapter 72, the Jinn, verse 6, it says, and persons from among men used to seek refuge with persons from among the Jinn. So they increased in their evil doings, as we can see that going on now. And they thought, as you think, that Allah would not raise anyone. And verse 13 says, and when we heard the guidance, we believed in it. So whoever believes in his Lord, he fears neither loss nor injustice. And so with that, I want to go to the fall of America. I'm going to read, let me see, the chapter 59 is the decision. Because we're talking about separation and we on the why now. So, chapter 59, the decision. It says, Holy Quran chapter 78:2, of the tremendous announcement. The day of decision. We are now living in the time in which we must decide on what we shall do. It is very important that we arrive at a solution. Come to a definite agreement. You, black man of America, are holding back your decision. You are waiting because of the people who have brought this day of decision to us by their way of rule. Their rule is in the way of injustice. Now the God of justice is before us, and we must decide upon whether or not we will accept a change of rulers or remain under the present rule that is passing from the scene. We must decide rightly in order to relieve the people of the pressure of injustice. Let our decision be for the benefit of our present and our future generations. We have no objection to that person who makes up his mind to remain in what he is already in. However, this announcement of great importance is laid before you and me so that we may come to some kind of decision. Agreement on what we shall do about the truth of this announcement. The announcement is the truth. It is asking us to decide on whether or not we are going to accept the truth or remain in falsehood. It is called the day of decision. Decide this day which God you shall serve, the God of freedom, justice, and equality, or the same old wicked God whose rule Allah God is here to bring to an end. Yeah, that was so quicker than I thought. So, the day of this decision. So, in this separation process on what we're on, why we must separate, or why we should separate, we have to make a decision. Like Minister David said, those who want to stay, you stay. Best wishes to you and yours. Okay? And those who want to go, let's go. So, inshallah, next week, we will, those of us who want to go, wherever it is on this planet that we decide to go,
That's right.
in a state or territory of our own, even if we just going right over to the next state. Next week, inshallah, we will deal with how we gonna separate. Okay. So inshallah, next week, that's what we're gonna go into. How, the how. So we dealt with the who, the what, the when, the where, and the why. And next week, we're gonna deal with how we're gonna do it. So are there any questions, comments? Nothing? Oh, yeah, so we learned some stuff today. We enjoyed ourselves.
I enjoyed myself,
Oh,
yes.
good. So that means we're gonna get this party rolling once we end with
So
this
come with your notes.
and on the separation on next week. So if there is nothing else, I would like to leave you all as I came before you in the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Supreme wisdom, some call it the lessons, but I call it life, actual facts, no guessing.